stay in the win. I could see them selling out heavy against the run, and Laporta being the big beneficiary. Texter says, my 4 friends from college, we rarely see each other. We're all coming over one place. We're making venison chili and gumbo. Beers, eating good food, and bourbon.
It's hard to find a comparison because...
Get to Scott in Grand Rapids. What are your plans? You're on 97.1. Good morning.
I would look to where LeBron is at his career right now. There's a lot of sizzle around him, but there hasn't been steak in a while. But I don't want to throw shade on his career because he's clearly one of the top 2 all-time players of all time in the NBA, but
to justify in my mind. But
other than that, I don't know that there is an athlete out there that has more or could do more or is doing more. But then when it comes to winning, maybe Lamar Jackson.
I tell you what, I've absolutely.
I think you're right. This is not an overreaction. I can't think of somebody that compares to him.
And
he's been
we're coming in tomorrow morning.
Playoffs. And for him to do that after the season he had, where I thought Jim Harbaugh had kind of dumbed things down for him a little bit, and then to go back to who you were in the playoffs before,
I bet this game being a Saturday makes it even better for you, right?
He threw 3 interceptions all season.
Even better. I was rooting like heck for the Packers, the Commanders to win, so it could be Saturday night.
Yep, don't have to make that trek back, although some people get Monday off with the holiday. But either way, you get to make a longer weekend of it, which is great. Let's get to Kyle in Redford. Kyle, you're on 97.1.
Hey, how you doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Hey, I just had a quick question. I don't follow basketball as well as I probably should, but last year it seemed like we were sacrificing the Pistons' wins so that the Lions could win. Are we willing to do that again, or are we hoping for a three-peat with having the Tigers in the playoffs, the Pistons, and the Lions?
Well, don't forget the Wings. We want them all.
The Wings as well, yeah. But, are we willing to sacrifice the Pistons again, or are we confident that we can have all 4 teams in the playoffs in one season?
Well, I'm confident we can have all 4 teams in the playoffs in one season. Now, the 2 quote-unquote weak links would be Pistons and Red Wings.
Yeah, who have both come alive.
Yeah, who have come alive. And if it's one of those impossible questions, right, would you wish for the Pistons and Wings to go on a 10-game skid just simply, and on the other side, you were guaranteed the Lions win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I think everybody would sign up and say yes, okay. It's
shove them off a cliff. We got games to win.
Yes. Mr. Season Ticket Holder, you speak for all Red Wings fans.
Well, I know the Lions Super Bowl is so special. We've never seen it. It is in rarefied, emotional preference for everybody. Okay, let's get to Heather's news.
So Jim Harbaugh, he led the LA Chargers to the NFL playoffs in his first season returning to the league. And while he is very eager to begin plotting the team's off-season strategy, he's going to have to pause that for a moment because he does plan to undergo a couple medical procedures this offseason. Yeah. So during his end-of-season remarks on Wednesday, he said he'll have an ablation to treat an irregular heartbeat or a heart rhythm.
Right, because he had that one game where he had a medical issue before the game actually ended up coaching the game, but I think this is stemming from some of that.
He said that's when he felt this strange rhythm. It was on October 13th, a game against the Broncos. And then he's also going to undergo a hip replacement surgery.
Yeah.
I've seen him walk with that limp before, so he'll get those things
taken care of. Yep.
And it's a good reminder for people out there, if you're dealing with something nagging, especially heart stuff, get that checked out.
Especially
I read
in the offseason.
somewhere that this
Whatever
is going to be his
is.
third procedure, the heart procedure.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
That he's had these in the past.
No kidding.
Once when he was playing.
Oh, really?
I swear I read that. And then once again after that, and then now this time as well.
Yeah, I've had other people that I know that have gone through that same procedure, and it does sometimes take a couple of hits.
So good luck to him. Hopefully he'll make a speedy recovery. Some sad news. Longtime Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker, who was also known for his, witty, funny commentary in the Major League movies, passed away at the age of 90. A long life, a great career. So obviously after this short-lived baseball career, he joined the Brewers broadcast team in 1971, and he remained with the team until his death.
Yeah. He was amazing. His quick wit was second to none. And when somebody does pass like this, and then all of a sudden everybody starts posting tributes, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, you get a chance to see some of the the great moments, not just what we saw in Major League as the announcer, but like the Bud Light commercials that he had. Oh, I must be in the front row. And all of those.
Yeah.
He was so funny.
He was on Johnny Carson and was unbelievably funny.
And I do think baseball radio announcers specifically form these really important bonds with people. Like we had obviously Ernie Harwell or Vince Scully if you're a Dodger fan. It's 160 games. It's the summertime. It's at the lake. It's in the car. It's at Grandpa's house. You feel really close with these guys.
Yeah, you build a relationship with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's sad news, but a long life. He was battling small cell lung cancer since early 2023. So speaking of commercials and things, Jake from State Farm is probably very disappointed to hear that State Farm won't be running any commercials during this year's Super Bowl. Not that Jake from State Farm didn't even appear last year during the Super Bowl. Who was that? Arnold Schwarzenegger and
like a good neighbor. Yeah.
And who was that other? Danny DeVito. They were in the State Farm commercial together. Anyway, the company is obviously facing some major criticism for its decision last year to not renew insurance policies for like 72,000 property owners in California. And because of this, well, they don't say it's because of the backlash, but because of this backlash and because they say their focus is on helping those impacted by the wildfires, they are not going to have a presence during the Super Bowl. They're pulling their ads.
They're still technically the largest insurer in California.
They are. Yeah, and that's, yes. So they're focusing on that, and they've got a lot of people to provide for. So that's what they say, yes. So it seems like the whole state, everywhere you go, is celebrating the Lions, right?
As they should be.
Yes, they should. It's really incredible, especially as Saturday approaches. Everyone is getting in on the fun, showing off their Lions pride. I mean, you've got the bakery in Rochester that did the Amon-Ra St. Brown cake. We've seen the ice sculptures and snow sculptures. And there's a bakery in Garden City, Villa Bakery, that's going all out as well for this playoff run.
And true fans wear Lions gear all the way up to game time.
Yes, that's true.
I get it. No one's as big a fan as you, John.
Looking at you guys, I just can't believe I showed up and I'm the only one wearing Lions gear.
Fan of the year.
You want to borrow my hat?
Fan of the year, John Jansen.
I don't know if I've ever seen cookies in a hat.
So are you just
put it on if you'd like to see how it looks?
No, I don't want to soil my hat.
You got like head lace or something?
Shirts.
Yes.
Because you now only have 2 shirts, right?
Right. Yes. The rotation will be quick.
That's how I feel. I only have a couple, so I wear them like
sparingly
the weekend. Yeah, because then I don't have to keep washing them over and over.
Game day.
Yeah, well, definitely game day, but
there's these new things. They're automatic washers. You put it in.
I know.
Hit a couple buttons, and amazingly, an hour and a half later, it comes out
got
clean.
Time for that. Anyway, this bakery, they've got everything Lions themed. Their cannolis are Lions themed. Their cookies, their cupcakes, their bumpy cakes. Everyone's going all in, and I love it.
I'll take a Lions themed bumpy
cake. Yeah.
Heather with the news. Coming up next, John's past.
It's coming for me.
Commanders fans think he's turned on the franchise. John, what happened to loyalty?
Already had one guy call in this morning.
He tried to guilt you. I drove you on the bus to practice. Picked you up from the airport. What happened to loyalty? John, you're a loyal person. We'll get to that next. It's 97.1.
Hey, it's wintry driving season yet again, where reckless drivers seemingly are everywhere. And if they can't keep their car under control, who pays the price? You. And if you get injured in an auto accident during this or any other time of the year, you need an injury attorney who's going to be responsive to your needs and aggressive against the insurance companies. The injury attorney that you need to hire is David Femininio. You can pick up the phone right now and speak with David personally by calling 855-65-CRASH, or you can always go to the website, getdavidgetpaid.com. That number again, 855-65-CRASH, or on the web at getdavidgetpaid.com.
Woo! Love that in there.
Yeah.
Waymo, gone.
How fortunate are we to have a guy like Dan Miller who is ready for anything that the Lions throw at him? And trust me, you've got to be on your toes as a play-by-play guy when they run as many, the rest of the NFL wants to say trick plays. I think it's just part of the Lions offense. You got to be ready for every single moment. And Dan knocks it out of the park every single time.
Look, we got open lines. If you want to talk ball, we can break this game down any way you'd like. What does it come down to? And do you have any concerns? We're on playoff eve here today. John, your past is coming for you a little bit here.
It is. I mean, everybody knows I spent a decade in Washington, and I have received via social media, and whether it's former teammates or fans that I did interact with, companies that I interacted with who have my number. I did change my number when I came to this area, but still maintain some relationships there. How could I possibly, after a decade with the franchise, root for anyone against the Commanders? Or how could I not be excited that they found their franchise quarterback, that they are a 12-win team, that they're in the playoffs, they're much better? The answer is simple. Okay, I know both teams fired me, but the way it ended in Washington was not great. And the way that it was handled through the entire time, 6 coaches in 10 years. The prime of my career was put in the hands of Steve Spurrier. I ended my time there with Jim Zorn. He was hired as the coordinator. They couldn't hire a head coach, so they promoted him to head coach. It was, on the football side of things, a very challenging 10 years, and especially the way it ended. But even on top of that, I grew up a Lions fan, and I've talked about it time and time again. I was upset with the Lions when they took Aaron Gibson, and I didn't get a chance to go. And the way the business worked, it didn't provide me an opportunity to come back until I was eventually released after a decade. Given that choice, and I had some opportunities to go other teams, I wanted to come back to Detroit because I've always been a Lions fan. And so it's very simple for me to root for the team. And Mark Brunell, teammate of mine, quarterback coach. Antoine Randall L., teammate of mine, wide receivers coach. Dan Campbell, friend since we were both drafted into the NFC East. And so I have no problem throwing the Commanders under the bus, 100%. And I can't wait to go on in D.C. Now, a lot of the fans, it's been somewhat in jest.
Mm-hmm. It's all good fun.
Yeah, well, some of it's not so much. But you take the good with the bad. There's always going to be a couple of bad apples in there. And hey, watch out. If we see you, we're going to make sure you know what we think. And okay, well, won't be there. So, and there was some fun back and forth when somebody put out the "We Want Detroit" chant that the fans were having.
Oh, we played it, yeah.
And so somebody had superimposed the "We Want Jansen," and so that was all in fun.
Bring on Jansen.
And so it's been all in fun, but yeah, there is no doubt where my loyalties lie, and there is no doubt what I think is going to happen in this game. And I've been very bullish on the Lions all season long. I said I wanted the Commanders. The reason I wanted the Commanders is because I love when the Lions beat them. It just, every single time. The first win we had when I was with the Lions, and part of the reason I wanted to go to the Lions was I saw that they were going to be on the schedule. And it was the first win after the 0-16 season. And we lost, I don't even remember who the first game was against. The first win after that horrid streak of losses was against the Redskins at the time.
I got a couple things in here, okay? So, first off, you mentioned Dan Miller.
Yeah.
Dan's going to kill me for this. Dan has D.C. roots.
He does.
Oh, yeah. I knew Dan. I knew Dan in D.C.
Who's Dan rooting for?
Oh, stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you, Dan. Bigger thing here, though. This is serious. Now, I have zero problem with you being for the Lions. You're from here. You played for a horse crap owner and franchise in my mind. I hated the Redskins when I was a kid. Your former Michigan teammate would feel differently?
Mikey Sammers? Oh, not my teammate. Who was my teammate that would feel differently?
Tom. Tom has been on record saying he will never root for the 49ers in his life again because they passed him up in the draft, saying, quote, F them. And I believe they took, who's that, Giovanni, something, I can't remember his name, at quarterback instead, and Mooch defended it and all that stuff. Tom feels very differently about this than you do. And you were passed over, too.
Twice.
Right. He holds that bitter, bitter pill. And like I said, I don't have a problem that I love that you're rooting for the Lions. I love that you feel that way. But it is interesting. I don't know if the 49ers played the Patriots, he did win 6 Super Bowls. It's a little different.
Yeah,
the Patriots.
Yeah,
but he's in their Hall of Fame.
So to that point is, he never went back and played for San Francisco. I know there was always this rumor that he was going to come out of retirement and play for San Francisco, or when he was a free agent, instead of going to Tampa, it was going to be San Francisco. I did get a chance to play for Detroit, and I was treated better. And this is why, even before Sheila was the owner, I was a heavy defender of Lions ownership, because the way they treated me in 2 years was better than I was ever treated in a decade in Washington.
That may have said more about Washington than
than
the Lions leadership at that time.
So it was a low bar, and they cleared it easily.
Well, Lions ownership always treated players pretty well, I think, for the most part, especially once we got into the cap era. I thought they were always fair game. They just didn't commit to the right things.
Yeah. But you are recognized as one of the greatest Redskins of all time.
Yeah, one of 80.
One of 80. And for you, there is no
I put my jacket in storage.
Where are you on the list?
They didn't rank them 1 through 80. They just added us to, because originally it was the top 75, and then when they hit 80 years of history, they added 5 more players, and they never ranked us 1 through 80.
Where do you think you would have ranked?
Top 50? I kind of think it would have been somewhere.
I'm going to go 47. I have no idea who's on this list.
Perfect.
This shows
you
what winning does, though. I mean, for me, I forgot how good you were with them because you didn't win. You were never on the you were just on the regional game of the week all the time, and you wouldn't see them play, especially back then when there just wasn't as many games on TV. And ingrained in me is the Hogs.
Right.
Why?
Oh yeah,
they won.
Yeah.
And it's just like it goes to show you how much winning affects where people rank.
Yeah.
But it's funny, the Hogs lineage. Even when I played low-level football, the O-line was referred to as the Hogs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the effect that had.
There are still people that refer to the offensive line around football as the Hogs. And it all obviously originated there. And those that dressed up with the pig noses and the dresses, and they were a staple in the crowd. And in fact, you will see some of the Hogs in the stands.
Okay.
And I mean, the funny thing about it too is I had a chance to meet them, and when they would then after the game take off their costumes, there was a high-level doctor, 2 attorneys that were in high-level law firms with names on the marquee. These were individuals that by week they were high-level people in the industry in DC, but then on the weekend they dress up in skirts and pig faces. It was comical.
The uniqueness of some of these super fans. I mean, for sure. John, you're not at all. There's no tugging of the heartstrings.
No.
You are clear-eyed, full heart, can't lose this week. Lions got this. You're rooting for the Lions. There is no conflict. As much as people from your past are trying to drag it out of you.
Drag me back in. No.
We will take phone calls from you guys on how this game's going to go, what it comes down to. Maybe we're discoing into the 8 o'clock hour. Reminder, you have a chance to win tickets to the game, courtesy of Bud Light. It's today. It's on this show, and your chance is going to happen. I'll tell you how at 8 o'clock. It's 97.1. 8:02 will tell you how you can win Lions tickets this morning for Saturday night playoff football at Ford Field. Be listening at 8:02. We'll tell you how you can win that pair of tickets for Saturday night. John, you played for both these teams.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily with Washington, and you ended with Detroit. How would your career have been different if you had just been drafted by Detroit?
I mean, I don't know. It's if you just look at where both the franchises were. We won a division my rookie season, beat Detroit in the playoffs. But I mean, obviously they didn't win the division that year because it's been 30 years since they won a division. But I mean, I have no idea how to answer that question. I would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, you would have been home.
I would have been home. I would have been somewhere where I actually wanted to live. Every offseason, I hated leaving, but I just didn't want to stay in D.C.
You would have blocked for Barry for at least a season?
Well, Barry retired that preseason leading into my rookie year. It was after they drafted, Aaron, because it was 99. Isn't that when he retired?
Before that training camp?
Yeah.
It faxed in his retirement?
Uh-huh.
So you never would have blocked for Barry?
Yeah, it was before the 99 season. Yeah, and that would have been my rookie season. So
unless you could have convinced him.
Yeah, it's going to listen to a rookie.
Hey, we drafted John Jansen from the national champion Michigan Wolverines. Maybe I got to give this one more shot.
Yeah.
You could have kept Barry here in Detroit.
It would have been a lot of fun. I know that. And I would have probably enjoyed my career a little bit more. I don't know if there would have been more or less winning.
I was going to say, not a great era of Lions football on the field.
No, but not a great era of Washington football on the field either.
So how would things look different for the Lions if you were drafted?
Well, if I would have been the reason that maybe Barry didn't retire.
Yes, I think that's a possibility.
If they would address the offensive line versus bringing in a 400-pounder.
Did they still draft Backus after drafting you?
Sorry, guys. We had a little stuff going behind the scenes. I didn't hear. So you're saying Barry got drafted or you got drafted and then Barry retired like 3 months later?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, he wouldn't have seen you in camp because he didn't report.
Right.
So
but he did understand how they were building the offensive line because he saw the draft picks. I don't think he was, not looking at who they took.
So I honestly, truly believe if they drafted you instead that maybe Bobby Ross doesn't quit because you would have filled the role that they thought Gibson was filling, and you'd have done it well, and he wouldn't have walked away. But the team would have been more successful.
But I don't think they were. They just drafted Gibson, right?
We were in the same draft.
Yeah, so they didn't know. They thought he was better than you, so that wouldn't have changed their philosophy.
But Bobby Ross didn't quit until mid-2000. So,
you're saying
if we'd have been a little bit more productive,
you would have actually done the job.
Maybe won the playoff game.
They drove him nuts. He said he was going to drive around Lake Orchard, and the rest was history. Abandoned ship, remember that? Maybe Matt Millen doesn't get hired.
You're really putting a lot on John getting drafted here. Fixes all the wrongs.
It's not his fault. It's a lie.
Yeah. It would have. I mean, who knows what dominoes fall? I don't know what Barry. Ultimately, he probably makes the same decision. I don't know.
Did you ever play special teams, like on the line, trying to block kicks?
No, I was never a rusher, but I was a long snapper.
Okay, because of your height, I thought you would be out there. You go, raw, you could have blocked the Edinger kick, and then they make the playoffs.
No, that was the only one that I saw do that as an offensive lineman was Flozell Adams.
I remember that. I remember that.
Flozell the hotel. Every time we played Dallas too, it was I had to line up, and that's when you could hit the center. So it was more on Ethan than it was on me. Leroy Glover and Flozell Adams just crushing him. They actually broke his back in the final game of the season one year.
I can't wait. We've got you all till 10, but then later today when you're going to call into DC Radio and let them have it, it's going to be great. For people who want to tune into that, 5 o'clock.
Yes.
That's 106.7 The Fan, our Odyssey station in DC. You can use the app. John will be on at 5, and you are not going to be shy about where your loyalties lie and how you think this game is going to go.
Yeah. I'll be very direct with them, as I was always with the fans as to what was going on with the franchise, what was going on with me, and how I felt. Always try to do it in a classy manner, and as we've kind of talked before in the whole matchup with Strahan, I always wanted to speak with my pads. All right, let my play speak for itself, so that when you actually are asked questions, you can back it up with what you did on the field.
Let's get to the phones. Kevin in St. Clair, you're on 97.1. Good morning, Kev.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good.
So I'm just calling it, like, I remember when I first seen that we were going up against the Commanders, I was at first concerned because I think it was just all the hype, like C.J. Stroud last year, like, oh my gosh, Jaden Daniels, this rookie, he is phenomenal. But then as I thought to think about it, I remember the first thought I had is there's no way he has played in an environment louder than Ford Field was. And I was there at the home opener, and it is extremely loud. I went and looked at their schedule. There's no way. So being able to see him in that environment as a rookie and how he's going to respond to that will be interesting. But there's no way. I mean, the Lions, they did this last year. I mean, did we end up losing? But I have ultimate faith in the Lions that they're going to get it done. And hopefully they do the same like they did with the Vikings and just hold them to field goals.
Kevin, appreciate the phone call. And you got me thinking, I wonder if people's opinions have changed as the week's gone, one way or another. Like your initial reaction and now where you're at today on the eve of the game.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about playing a fresh team. Like there's a lot of things that we don't know about the Commanders. People have seen highlights, but you see all of the best moments of a 12-win team as you get into the playoffs. And now that you've had a chance to go back and look at the numbers, look at the opponents, and we mentioned like the only playoff team that they beat in that 12 wins was the Eagles. Every other team that they've beaten is no longer playing. They're not in the playoffs.
248-539-9797. So what we do want to know is where you're at. Maybe it's changed throughout the week. Maybe initially you were really nervous and now you're super confident. Maybe you were super confident, but as the game gets closer, you're going, oh, they're winning all these close games, or the Commanders. What if they get a close game and we're sweating it out on Saturday night? Where are you at as the week has gone on? What is the difference in this football game? 248-539-9797. The other interesting thing might be if people have conflicts. Right? John, we had a call earlier this week.
Yeah, was it Vern?
Yeah, Vern.
Had family-owned business, wife and child, all were the ones that are scheduled to work. Couldn't find anybody to come in to keep the shop open. Got to keep the lights on. And so he might have to miss. And I don't know if they've been able to find somebody to work their shift, if they're going to have to miss this because they're season ticket holders.
He's got to bribe a family member or something. Come on, Vern.
Well, not his daughter because he wants to take her.
I know, but someone else, a cousin, a nephew.
A brother-in-law, someone. Yes. Come on.
So here's a
bribe
conflict.
Him. Here's $500 an hour. Close the shop.
And I think there's a lot of, we've talked about the new Lions fans, right? Those that are on board now because the Lions are everywhere. The buzz, you can't ignore it. You can't hide from it. It is literally everywhere around Metro Detroit, around the state of Michigan. But some may not have realized that you could be playing the divisional round on Saturday. And I ran into somebody who was at Jack's basketball game on Tuesday. They came up and they were asking some football questions, and then they made it known that, hey, for Christmas, they'd gotten their wife a ticket, 2 tickets, that they were going. He, the husband, was going to take her to this play. It's Saturday night. It starts at 7:00. So he's trying to figure out how to get out of the Christmas present. And his wife said, no, we're going to the play. He's going to the play, and he said, I'm going to go in the bubble. I can't imagine being in the bubble for this game, the divisional round game. Did you make plans on Saturday, not knowing that it was possible that the Lions could be playing? I've got some other examples of conflicts that I could share.
Well, you're right, because we mentioned there's new Lions fans, people who aren't aware of this stuff. They always play on Sunday. Did someone step in it? And now they got a conflict on Saturday night. Because, John, the play example, someone in the stands is going to be taking a look at their phone.
Oh, they're going to be watching. Yeah, we saw it at what was the award show where
Dak Shepard.
Was watching it at a major award show. At a play, you know there's going to be some dudes that are sitting in the same seats as that guy. I got my wife these tickets. Now I got to go. They're going to be watching the game.
You're not going to be able to stay in the bubble. And then as soon as people walk out, the first thing they're going to check is their phone, and they're going to know.
Yeah, and the chatter in the atrium is going to be, hey, did you see the Lions are up by 14?
Well, I ran into that this year with the wedding. I thought we planned it at a safe time in October, thinking, the only way we can run into some trouble is if the Tigers make the playoffs, thinking that's not going to happen 2024.
Oops.
Yeah. Game 1 of the Cleveland series. Luckily, that was a blowout, so didn't miss much. But
hopefully Saturday's a blowout. People won't miss much If you have a conflict, let us know. It's 97.1.
Lots of local sports to recap from last night, so we'll start off with the good news. The Red Wings getting back to their winning ways. They get a win over the second-place Florida Panthers. That is second in the Atlantic Division. Detroit now back to 46 points on the season following a 5-2 win. Cam Talbot, excellent in net. He stops 41 of 43. Captain Dylan Larkin with a 3-point showing highlighted by a pair of goals. Meanwhile, on the basketball front, not as much good news to share as the Pistons with a chance to improve to 6th place in the Eastern Conference. They drop all the way to 9th with a 111-100 loss to the Indiana Pacers. That loss perhaps not as heartbreaking, though, as the one suffered by Michigan. Leading Minnesota throughout most of the game, the Gophers come back in the second half to force overtime. Michigan looks like they force double OT with the last-second bucket, but a half-court heave as time expires leads to the Minnesota upset 84-81. And finally, we are just 1 day away from the NFL playoffs resuming. Lions hosting the divisional round matchup against the Commanders Saturday night. More tickets have been released for that matchup as Detroit looks to advance for their second straight NFC Championship game appearance. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Dustin Fiocco. For details on these stories and more, you can stay right here on 97.1 The Ticket. You can also head to Odyssey.com.
We've been telling you all week, you got a chance to win Lions tickets on this show. Now we're going to tell you how. Between now and 10 o'clock, we're going to play a drop. You're going to hear Dan Campbell's voice saying, I've got 2 game balls. Set of cojones. When you hear that, you're going to call in, chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Lions this Saturday against the Commanders. It's courtesy of Bud Light. If you don't win them, we're only going to have one winner.
We've arrived.
You get a chance, a last-second chance, at Buffalo Wild Wings on Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. We're going to be broadcasting live starting at 1 o'clock to kick off game day. More info, 971theticket.com. Got to listen for Dan Campbell talking about his 2 game balls.
Yep. And somebody is going to be very excited this morning.
Yeah, you see what the tickets are going for. I don't care if you think, well, they're going to win anyway. Who would pay to... You want to be there to see your team do this stuff. You want to be in the building for that atmosphere for a playoff victory. I refuse to get numb to that, especially after how long it took to get to this point.
Yeah.
It's still special. And don't take wins for granted. I mean, if it's going to be a win, go enjoy a win.
Yeah, yeah. And if you win those tickets, is it getting you out of something else?
Right, that was your question. Does anybody have Saturday conflicts? Because they're new to this. They didn't realize they could play Saturday.
Or they were just gambling. Hey, an experienced football fan knows that they could be playing the divisional round on Saturday, yet I gambled and lost on this one, and now I got to take my wife to a play. Or
how does she not understand?
I don't know. I mean, we're talking. This one was a Christmas present, so that one I don't know that you can get. If Colin had gotten you tickets to a play and said, "Babe, we're going out,"
It's tough because I'm not into plays, so that sounds like the worst thing you have to sit through when you want to be somewhere else.
What if it was like a concert?
Yeah, if it was a concert and one that I had really been wanting to go to, right? Like something I was really into and he got this as a gift, like we're going together.
Yeah, it's a date night. Would you let him out of it?
It would be tough. I mean, I don't know what I would do. Like,
you know how much he loves this football team. He's obsessed.
He would never do this, just knowing it. But it would be tough to want. I don't know. It would be hard.
John, you said you had other stories people have approached you?
Oh, yeah. I've got a buddy who's a softball coach, and he coaches on an elite level softball team, and he's got players from kind of all around the Midwest. They're coming in once a month for a practice. Tonight or Saturday night is their practice. They're practicing from 9 to midnight, which by itself is insanity, but they got the space for free. His question was, do I cancel practice? We only practice once a month, or do I still have the practice and have the game on somewhere? Like, I mean, to me, that just is how do
you move practice?
Cancel it.
Yeah, or cancel it.
It's January.
You're fine.
Yeah, what are you going to do in one night?
Exactly. 248-539-9797.
But the problem that he's having is because they are coming from the Midwest, they might not all be Lions fans. So they don't really care.
It's a great story. It's a great story if you're not a Lions fan. Watch a game.
It's one of the biggest moments of the year.
This is cultural. This is appreciation. Come on now. Come on. If you're an athlete, you can appreciate this. It's competitiveness. Come on.
How do you not understand?
How do you not get it? Let's get to the phones. Isaac in Royal Oak. Isaac, you're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. So for Christmas, my 72-year-old mother loves coming down to Detroit. My girlfriend and I got her tickets to the Golden Girls Drag Queen show, which is Saturday night in Detroit. It's at either Fox Theater or the Fillmore. Obviously, everything falls into place the way that it did. And I am blessed because my 72-year-old mother has been season ticket holder for 15 years. She's like, you could toss those tickets. I didn't want to go anyways. I'm not sure why you got them.
So she did your Christmas present.
It's not where I thought this was going, but
good. Is Mom taking you?
No. Well, we've had season tickets together, so we're all going to the game. It's funny, too, because my girlfriend's like, I'm going to try to resell these. I was like, babe, there is zero chance anybody in their right mind is going to be in Detroit going to a play at 7:30 on Saturday night. There is one event in Detroit on Saturday night.
That's a sunk cost.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, and my mom was like, I didn't want to go anyways. That was a nice thought, but it's during the playoffs. I was like, it was the girlfriend's idea, Mom. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you threw her under the bus. Oh, no. Oh, enjoy the game.
Can't wait. Go Lions,
baby. Go Lions.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Oh, hey, that was sweet. It was a nice thought. I didn't want to go anyway. Truth comes out.
Why would you give me this? This is awful.
It's a bad Christmas gift. Don't you know me?
That's 72. You don't know me by now.
Good morning. My niece is getting married in April, and her future husband is having a getaway bachelor party up north next weekend, and I have to be there.
Oh, NFC Championship game?
First of all, you don't have to be anywhere. Let's be very clear about that.
Wow. But it's a bachelor party, right? Surely they're going to have the game on. That's going to have to be part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, they have electricity up north. Those hamsters do run.
Okay. Yeah, as long as you got a spot to be watching that football game.
Yeah.
The NFC title game would be the holy grail.
Maybe they'll have some entertainment along with the game.
Yeah, John, what do you think that's going to be?
Make it even better. Excuse me, you're blocking the TV.
Okay, a couple more ticket texts. This one says, my wife and I are season ticket holders the last 2 years. The last playoff game we had a banquet the same day. Had to rush to the banquet, get dressed at the place, and rush downtown. This year, we sold the first round. Have not had the banquet yet, but I planned or scheduled it for Saturday. Okay. You got to know by now. I know we're not used to Lions being in the playoffs. You got to know by now. You got to keep these weekends open.
Well, and not only that, but early on, like Dan didn't even remember or recognize that they had clinched a playoff spot. At that point, you start looking at the calendar, going, "Do we have any conflicts in the possible playoffs?" And at that point, they were sitting in the number 1 seed. You know they could be hosting games.
Come on, people.
Yeah, be smarter.
Texter says, the neighbor texted me last night asking what I'm doing for the game. I was thinking all week I'm staying home because I can't watch with other people. Al from Jackson. Too much nervous energy.
I get that, yeah. I think there's a lot of people that do normally watch the game with other people, but in this one, they're not.
Well, Colin is also debating about watching it with somebody we've never watched before.
Ooh, that's a big risk.
What kind of fan are they? Are they going to talk during the game? Things like that. So
are they gonna,
maybe better just to watch by yourself.
Wow, that is a big risk.
Well, our house is in shambles, so we cannot
really. So you're going to their house?
We can't watch it at our house. I mean, you can't be. Our house is. You cannot live in our house.
Well, that's part of why he's also considering going to the game.
Well, yeah,
right?
maybe that's more true. I can stay in the house and just sit on my bed and watch it on the bedroom TV.
Yes, you can listen to it through the Odyssey app.
I could.
Well, we went through what everybody's doing. John, you're going to be at home.
Yes.
You're going to have a spread. You're going to have some people over.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be at the game. I want to see the atmosphere. I know the media area is not the same thing, but walking around before the game, being in the building, feeling the energy, I want to see what that's like.
It's a little stale.
Up in the media area, it is.
Yeah, because you can't hear everything. Well, you can feel it a little bit.
The crowd's loud enough, you can hear it, yeah. But I want to be there. I want to be in the building when it happens. And then obviously the NFC title game. I plan to be there. You plan to be there?
TBD. Oh, not sure yet.
He's on the fence still. Yes. Okay. Texter says, I got lucky. Cousin's wedding is on Sunday at 3 p.m.
Ooh.
Bullet dodge.
That was a big-time gamble. Although it's his buddy's wedding. He's the one. His buddy is the one that scheduled that one.
Who gets married on a Sunday?
At a venue
Very
issue.
few people.
People do like at a church, maybe like religious Sunday stuff.
Oh, maybe,
know.
yeah. I don't know.
Or maybe you have no religion and Sunday doesn't matter to you.
It's an open day for you then, yeah. Text says rescheduling prior commitments because of a football game is tacky, no matter the game.
What? Come on.
I don't think you know who you're talking to. I mean, sports are a huge deal here.
Maybe it depends what the prior commitment was. Like.
Right. Okay, so if you made the grave error of scheduling your wedding for Saturday, you're not rescheduling the wedding.
No.
You may not have as many attendees.
Or present attendees.
Right.
They'll be there, but they'll be distracted.
Sure. Yeah. But so here's it. If you have that conflict, let's say you have a wedding. Are you okay with putting up some screens at the reception?
I hope so. Imagine what that party could be like.
Oh, it would be unbelievable.
It'd be awesome.
I mean, it could make that reception from good to great.
And
memorable.
What if the bride threw on some Honolulu blue, like in her veil?
Yeah.
Oh.
She comes out to forward down the field. Better yet, she comes out to Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Yeah.
Same old Lions. All right, we're going to have some fun with the picks later in the hour. More of your phone calls on do you have conflicts and where are you at with this football game as the week has gone on? As you get closer to kickoff, you feeling more confident or less confident? It's 97.1.
When it comes to an IRS collection or audit, you need a law firm that specializes in the resolution of all types of tax problems. And when dealing with the world's largest civil law enforcement agency, your case could take a lot of twists and turns. Your first call should be to an experienced law firm like Abraham and Rose. They're prepared to advocate on your behalf, no matter if it's civil or criminal or even the Michigan Department of Treasury, whether personal income tax or business payroll taxes. You're going to need a real team of local lawyers, not some tax organization with a random individual that you're never going to meet. Visit abrahamandrose.com today or call 248-539-5040 so you never personally have to deal with the IRS.
John, you brought up a couple people in your life that, unfortunately...
Oh, yeah, they've got a conflict.
Saturday night conflicts.
Self-induced. It's just...
Ruh-roh.
It's so disappointing. Football fans know this is a possibility. Could have the divisional round on a Saturday. Now, thankfully, it's at 8 o'clock. Because a lot of the conflicts that could have happened, I've heard it as well, where, hey, I've got something going on at 1 o'clock. They'll be well done and back home ready for the Lions game. Now, they might miss a little bit of the Chiefs game to start with, but all right, yeah, no problem. Not as big of an issue.
So we've got stories from you guys. We're going to make picks coming up at 8:35. We'll get into the game itself after the picks, right? I mean, the idea of what this game comes down to. We'll talk some football, talk a little ball. Let's get to Jesse. You're next up. You're on 97.1. Jesse, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Great. Good.
Good. That is good. Yeah. No, I got a conflict. I got to move tomorrow, actually, so I'm not really going to make it in time for the game because my internet, my cable is not going to be set up.
Oh, no.
You're literally moving.
Yep. Oh. I'm not going to be able to do anything. And today I have to work, so I'm not going to be able to get off in time to go meet anybody at my house to get anything set up. So it looks like we're streaming the game off my little phone.
But can't you broadcast it from your phone to the TV? Like, I mean, you could throw it up there, can't you?
Only if it was connected to the same Wi-Fi, and I don't have Wi-Fi.
What about a sports bar?
Yeah, go to the bar.
I was thinking about it, but I have 3 kids, so I can't.
Oh. Those darn kids, right?
Yeah,
Man,
always getting away of every good time.
Have kids, they say.
Yeah.
I know it'll be fun.
Seemed like a good idea.
So they say.
An adult. Terrible being an adult, but you know what?
It is.
I can read about it, but...
Well, at least you'll be able to stream it on your phone, though, right?
Yeah.
So you won't miss. It'll just be on a small screen.
That sucks, though.
Yeah.
It starts lagging and whatnot, kicks you out, so I never get a full game off of it.
Oh, man.
Hey, the kids might like the sports bar scene, too.
You don't
have to sit at the bar. I mean, you could sit at a table.
Let's get to Ryan in Rochester Hills.
Sounds
Ryan,
fun too.
Good morning.
It's real fun.
Yes, more chicken fingers.
How's it going?
What's up?
So I was actually at a wedding in 2017 that the wife was okay with having the Mayweather-McGregor fight on big screens during the wedding. I was standing up in it. But it was I did not think she was going to be good with that, but it ended up turning out like a bunch of fun, and we had a blast. So
cool.
Yeah.
It's a way to roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
props to her.
I'm a season ticket holder, so when it comes to Lions, I'll do anything. So just to let you know.
All right.
How do you feel about
what time's the party start tomorrow?
Oh God! Well, we got 3 heaters already procured, ready to go. Hopefully, we're down there by like 1 or 2. So we're gonna tailgate right there by Firebird usually. So
okay.
And how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. The whole mobile quarterback thing, I think, at the beginning of the week, it started to, get into my mind. But then I was like, that's an old narrative. I think we'll be good. I think our defense will show out. So I'm ready to go.
All right.
Get us to Saturday night already.
Yeah.
Couple ticket texts, John. We brought up the used to play for the Commanders, and the people in the past were trying to guilt
you
into
a hard time. Yeah.
John and TJ are both traitors to their original teams, the team that gave them an NFL opportunity where they both had success.
Yeah, then they also fired us.
That's what this one says. Let's be honest. Jansen and Lang both exploited the Lions for a retirement package.
The NFL retirement package is nothing to exploit.
As you've detailed before.
Yes.
In terms of the game, my Lions PTSD has me super nervous about tomorrow. Person says we're a 15-2 team, yet I'm thinking there's a good shot we lose. I hate it. I need it to be 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Got to get over history. History does not play into this game.
So you guys are talking about the conflicts and everything.
Yeah.
Have you even started to think about next week? There is no such thing as a conflict.
Correct.
Next week.
Right. Yes.
I'm sorry. There's not.
Postpone the wedding.
Baptisms. The game will be at 3 o'clock. NFC Championship game is a 3:05 kickoff.
Yeah, you can get dunked another time.
Well, they're usually either early in the morning or later in the day, so you should be fine. But
yes.
yeah, I mean, what we get in the way? Life event?
I mean, it had to be super
You're
close.
in labor. Your wife's having a baby.
You can still stream it.
You can still have that on, but it's not the way you'd probably want to watch it.
You can call 911 and have them take her there.
I'll meet you there later, sweetie. Good luck.
Hold on. Wait, can you wait till halftime?
Great job.
Yeah. The hospital's literally 10 minutes away. We can get there at halftime. Won't miss anything.
Hold it in. You're fine.
I can't imagine not watching that game.
No.
It would have to be.
You have to be like
life-threatening. A life or death situation.
Your house is on fire. Yeah, I guess you can't watch.
I don't even want to go down that road.
Next door. Yeah. Call 911.
Hey, firefighters, you get to that.
911's a call for everything. They can always help.
Anything to get in the way of the game is an emergency.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got to work too. I mean, yeah. Hopefully.
Let's get to Heather's news.
So the Red Wings are paying tribute to Hockeytown history with their new Stadium Series uniforms. Have you guys checked these out?
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they were unveiled on Thursday. They feature a custom Detroit script across the chest. It's inspired by automotive insignia. Then there's like racing stripes. Those are featured on the sleeves, on the socks, and on the helmet. Pretty cool. They also have some special touches to the team's history. Like the hem loop features the honorary team mascot. The octopus. The octopus.
That's really cool.
So just cool. There's a Hockeytown slogan. They look really neat.
There's a lot of detail. And the winged helmet.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's really cool. So these Stadium Series jerseys will be available to pre-order at all Red Wings team store locations. So you can get your hands on one if you want. It's pretty cool what Saturday's matchup between the Lions and Commanders is actually going to do for the city of Detroit. Yeah. It's expected to bring in a massive, massive economic boost, which is absolutely incredible. This new analysis predicts that expenditures by people who are headed to the game will have a direct economic impact of $39.3 million. Those are things like people spending money on game tickets, parking fees, buying Lions merchandise. And then there's going to be an additional indirect impact of $25.6 million. So that's a combined total of $64.9 million. One game.
It's awesome.
One game.
Yes. And it's going to be even better next week.
Which is... Yeah. It's amazing, which is pretty incredible. Some sad news. Bob Uecker, longtime Milwaukee Brewers broadcaster, passed away after a battle with lung cancer at the age of 90 years old. What a long life. He was also known for his witty commentary in the Major League movies. Real sad. I mean, it's not someone for me that had obviously a big impact on my life. I knew the name, I knew who he was, but I can't.
Yeah, from his beer commercials to the what he did at Major League, there were a lot of people, I'm included, that would tune into Brewers broadcast just to hear him.
Witty, funny,
that's what I
great
hear.
entertainer, and again, Milwaukee Brewer fans, baseball fans, really appreciated spending those summers with him.
Yeah.
And he remained with the team.
Yeah,
up until he died.
Yeah, he had a role. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's just incredible. If you missed it yesterday about these dangerously cold temperatures that are coming our way, listen today. An Arctic blast is headed our way, so prepare yourselves. So it's expected to hit on Sunday and then keep the region in this deep freeze next week. So
any snow with it, or is it just cold?
I did see that there was going to be some snow, but this is all about the freezing temperatures, right? You need to make sure you're dressed appropriately. You have layers. You cover all your exposed skin if you have to be outside for a while. Limit your time outside as well, not just for you, but your pets, right? You cannot keep your dog outdoors for that long because we're talking into the high negatives here, right? So it's going to get colder on Monday with highs of 5 degrees to 8 degrees, wind chills of -10 to -20, right? So it's going to be cold. And then it doesn't get much better on Tuesday. Expected highs fall between 4 and 8 degrees, wind chills of up to -22. So just be ready.
So much for a mild winter.
It's cold. Let's talk about this. This is interesting. Gen Z, right now, they range in age from 13 to 28, right? So young group. Obviously, this might not include the 13-year-olds that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, it actually focuses on employees. So that of the working age. I don't know. I guess you could even say
I was informed because I asked the kids last night. I'm like, okay, what age is Gen Z? I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
And Ellie said, well, Gen Z is not me or Jack. It's more Lucy and Ruby because Lucy and Ruby are 18, 19, and so
technically
they're like Gen Alpha. I think
that's the
next
younger
one.
ones. Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Yeah, it's crazy. But somehow, even though they're 13 to 28 years old, research has found that they are suffering a midlife crisis.
Really?
What do you mean?
Apparently so. This is looking at people who are at work, right? So like 13-year-olds, 18 to 28, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
According to the survey, holistic health among all generations has decreased, but it's decreased the most among Gen Zers. They found that they feel more stressed, depressed, burned out, and isolated than any of their counterparts. And it seems to be because of financial burdens. This is a group that's now trying to save money for big things in the future, right?
But they all live at home. What financial burden do they have?
Not all 28-year-olds, 20-year-olds live at home.
A lot of them do.
If you looked at the cost of rent these days.
Well, now they all do probably because they can't keep up any money. But they're saying that they're trying to save money, but everything costs more. So they're really like not getting anywhere in their financial future because they're just like treading water.
Well, think about it. If you want reliable transportation, Heather, you went through this recently. Anybody who's tried to rent, let alone buy a house right now.
Lay off the social media. Get yourself
buy
a better
eggs.
job. Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Everything is expensive.
Yeah, learn how to change a light bulb.
That's also in there. Okay. Do you want to know why I think I read?
Why?
Oh, okay. I'll save it for why Gen Z can't change a light bulb.
I can't wait to hear this. This is ridiculous.
Anyway, we got the picks next. That's Heather with the news. It's 97.1.
Hey, Planet Fitness wants you to start the year off strong, and they've extended their sale. You want to talk about a high-value membership? $1 down, get you in the door. $15 a month will keep you there, and that's for their base membership. Here's what comes with it. Free fitness training at every level of membership. But if you like variety in your workouts, you've got free weights, cable towers, Smith machines, upper and lower body strength machines, anything you want to pick from. And if it's cardio, you've got treadmills, recumbent bikes, Stairmasters, so much to pick from. And I already mentioned the free fitness training. If you want to upgrade your membership, you go to the Black Card membership, you get access to 2,600 clubs nationwide. So if you travel, it's perfect. Over 50 of them here in Detroit, 15 in Grand Rapids, 6 in Toledo. And here's the other thing. If you don't like going alone, you can always take a guest with you. Unlimited guest privileges. That's what Planet Fitness provides. You must be 18 to enroll, or if you're 13 to 17, you got to get mom or dad or a guardian to agree to it. Hours, amenities, and offers vary by club. Check theplanetfitness.com or stop by your local club for more information. Find your nearest club and join today in club, online, or on the free Planet Fitness app. We're all strong on this planet. That's Planet Fitness.
Day before the game. Good morning. Jim Costa, John Jansen, Heather Park. We are locked in on a Football Friday, and as a reminder, we do have Lions tickets to give away. Be listening between now and the end of the show for the drop, for Dan Campbell saying, I've got 2 game balls.
Yes.
When you hear that, call in your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Lions on Saturday, courtesy of Bud Light.
And please don't call right now.
No.
Because it has to be Dan Campbell saying it.
Otherwise, the
not
screener's
Jim
going
to
be
yes.
playing whack-a-mole over there. Not yet. Stop calling. We do want you to call and talk about the game, John.
Yes. We don't want to discourage you from discussing what you believe will happen on Saturday night. And I do want to know, now that we've had some people call in and say, hey, I'm more confident now than I was at the beginning of the week because they've learned more about the Commanders. We've talked about the matchup. They've listened all day long, and you get a lot of different perspectives. Now that you know more, are you more or less confident, or more confident or a little bit more worried, maybe is the way to put it?
More nervous? Some people just naturally get more nervous when you get closer to kickoff.
Oh, sure. There's going to be some nervous energy, and it's I urge everybody, whether it's because it's the Commanders and they, the 91 game, the game in 2000, like all of these different moments, like history does not play a part of this in my mind. But for a fan who lived through those, who saw those, who witnessed those, it's hard to ignore that as a part of your personal history with the team. This is a completely different team, built in a completely different way. And there are some concerns on defense. We don't rush the passer like we did at the beginning of the season. I mean, it's not rocket science. Is Jaden Daniels going to make some plays? Yes, he's a good player. Is he going to make as many plays as Jared Goff? Is their offense, can it possibly keep up with the scoring pace that this offense will put up through 60 minutes? No, it can't.
It's the hallmark of what the Lions do. They score a ton of points. They're the number 1 offense in football, and they've got a great, juicy matchup with the Commander front that doesn't stop the run. So to me, that's where it starts, and that's where it'll end, because that's a put-away matchup for the Lions. Late in the game, you can keep them at arm's length. I mean, the Commanders will go for it on 4th down. They'll use a little tempo. They'll try to move the sticks and keep your offense off the field. But I think they're going to be a play or two away the whole way because the Lions have the run game to wrestle back control of the ball and punish a Commanders defense that's the worst defense remaining in the playoffs. You really could not have asked for a better matchup, and it's reflected in the spread. I think it's reflected in the confidence you hear from us and from fans. This Lions team is built to handle this matchup, and this environment is uniquely challenging for a rookie quarterback. Your defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, has had 2 weeks to game plan for a rookie quarterback. And no matter what you think of Jaden Daniels and how well he's played this season, he has not played enough NFL football to shed the rookie label. There's still a lot that he hasn't seen.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily 2 weeks to prepare. It is a week to rest up and go over things that the Lions needed to fix coming out of the season and in all 3 phases. And then once they find out who they're playing, now you're in a game week and you're preparing for a specific opponent. And those things should be fixed that were, things throughout the course of the 17-game season that the Lions weren't able to hone in on. Now you've honed in on those. You've had that extra time. You are rested. You're as healthy as you're going to be before you get that week off leading into the Super Bowl. And how much on the defensive side of things will Aaron Glenn be messing with the young quarterback? And I think it's going to happen on every single snap. The pre-snap look, post-snap look has to be different every single time. And there are going to be times where you just line up and say, we're better than you, and we're going to beat you on this given down. Because down, distance, position on field, hash mark, all of those different things play into the play calls. But in passing downs especially, where you have a quarterback that has been sacked, what is it, the sixth most in the NFL, it's about processing. And if you struggle as a quarterback to process quickly because you're unsure of what's going on down the field, yes, he has his legs that he can rely on and make some plays, which he will. You're ultimately not going to be successful, or you will turn the ball over, or you will throw incompletions because of thinking about it versus reacting. And Jared Goff, yeah, we talk about how cerebral he is. All of that stuff happens before the snap of the ball, and he's anticipating. And when he sees something that changes after the snap, It's a reaction. There's not a thought involved.
The thing with facing Daniels, too, you'll listen to coaches talk about it. Mobile QB, rush lanes. Don't over-pursue. Don't try to be a hero. Don't try to get a sack. Stay composed. Keep contained. And to the stats that you gave, he's going to get sacked. This offensive line is not special. If you keep working, if you stay in your lanes, you're going to get to him. And he's going to want to roll right, so I'm imagining they're going to send some pressure occasionally off his right side. I think Ife Melifonwu could be a fun piece that makes a name for himself in this game. We know Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch would love to make the play that flips the game, the big turnover, and now you really do put them at arm's length. You say, hey, we scored. We're finishing in the red zone. We've got the ball. You're sitting there waiting on the sideline. You got to go for it on fourth down. If you don't get it, oops. It just starts to snowball on you quick. Look what happened with Minnesota. I think that's a huge part of it. Red zone was a huge part of that game. Lions are the number 2 red zone in offense in the NFL. That's a huge edge in this game.
Well, and part of that success in that area is because Jared Goff processes things so quickly. And it's like dealing with an iPhone 16. That's Jared Goff. And it's the ability to go out there and no matter what virus, no matter what thing is thrown at him, he processes and delivers. Versus Jaden Daniel, who's an iPhone 8, right? And a virus attacks it. And then they got to go to the sideline. They got to figure out how to fix this problem. And by the time you fix it, Aaron Glenn presents another problem. Aaron Glenn is the hacker to what Jaden Daniels is trying to do.
Jaden Daniels is at the Apple store. He's waiting in line. It's pain in the ass. Yeah. Got a game going on. You got to figure it out quick. And that quickness is going to be a big part of this. 248-539-9797. As the week's gone on, are you getting more confident? You getting more nervous? How do you feel a day away from the Lions playoff game against the Commanders? After the update, John.
We got something weird going on.
We got something weird. We got to address this. We'll get to it next. 97.1. All right, a lot of Lions football, cookie jar at 9:35. Still giving away those Lions tickets before 10. But, John, what's going on behind the glass?
Well, I'm curious because I want to hear this voice.
What's up, guys? Am I? Wait, you're not Doug. You're not Gator. What's going on? What the hell am I?
I think I'd rather be Doug than sitting in Gator's chair. Welcome to the morning show. Did you go full Tanya Harding on Greg?
Oh, yeah, right. I would never. I'd be the one protecting Greg, all right? Like, no way.
You upgraded.
You got a promotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that what they call it, waking up earlier and driving in here when the sun's not up yet? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, what the hell? Uh-huh. Where's the sun?
Yeah, welcome to January.
Right?
Yeah, but you had no traffic on the way in.
So it was weird because I was driving in, and it was during that hour where, like, I drive from the east, so I'm heading west, and the sun is rising behind me, and I'm heading into darkness. I feel like I'm going the wrong way.
Uh-huh, yes.
But, no, it was a different drive.
And so we know what you guys had going on in December was the spat between Doug and Gator, which is why they're not on together at that time. Has this spat now carried over to behind the glass, and you're going to be with us in the mornings, and you're not talking to the boys?
You know what? We keep everything in-house here, John. All right?
It's not going to go public with it?
Exactly.
So you won't address the rumors that you've refused to work with Doug Karsh?
You know what? I'm just here not to get fined, and
I'm just here.
I'm a good teammate. Actually, what this is classic lines. This is next man up, guys.
There you go.
This is next man up.
When someone comes, Christian Mahogany.
Yeah. I guess Greg Zeitler has a bad hamstring. But this is next man up. I was asked, and I was, to help out. And what do you do?
Yeah.
If you're a good team player, John, you know this.
More than happy to. Yep.
You step up.
Yeah. There's been a couple of times.
It's not just
it doesn't happen very often, but when called upon, you're ready to do it. And there's been a few times. I don't think it's happened with Jim and I where Doug and Gator have been on remote. We've maybe been a little delayed in getting them connected, so we stay for an extra segment or two. It happens.
I just didn't know if this is one of those clock deals where someone forgot to set the clock back, and we're actually not supposed to be on right now.
Yes.
So, Doug, if you want to come in.
Yeah.
No, we got another hour?
Yeah, we do. Yes,
okay.
Yes. Threw us off a little bit there, so.
What do you make of our chestiness, to use a word you're familiar with?
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it. This is playoff football, and although I expect the Lions to win, I think they will win. It's playoff football, and everyone knows this. I mean, you could break it down as much as you want. Offensive line versus defensive line, quarterback versus defensive backs, vice versa. But in the end, it's winner take all. It's one game. And I said this, and I think this is a positive for the Lions, is you can't break down grit and heart. And I think that's what the Lions have an advantage over every team, and it just has to show up on Saturday night. And I think they'll be okay. But with that being said, it's playoff football, so I'm nervous.
So I understand. There are a lot of similarities between Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn, right? And some of it shows out on the field in regards to being able to go for it on fourth down, the aggressive style and all that stuff, and what he's trying to do in Washington with, the buzzword is always culture, changing the culture. And in Washington, I can tell you firsthand, it had to start with the top. It was never going to happen with Dan Snyder. So they change ownerships, they change general manager, they change coach, they get themselves what they believe through 1 year as a franchise quarterback. The biggest difference for me, though, is they don't have the offensive or defensive lines to match up with Detroit, even though Detroit's defensive line isn't what it was at the beginning of the year, right? There's no Aleem McNeil, there's no Aiden Hutchinson, there's no Marcus Davenport. But the guys that are playing on that defensive front are tough. They play well together. They're gritty. But it's more about the offensive line. And I don't think there's any way, inside or outside, that this Washington defensive front can hang for 60 minutes. Now, and I mentioned this earlier, they're going to come out with their hair on fire, and they're going to be flying around to start with. It's going to be tough to move the ball early. And if the Lions go down and score on that opening drive, look out, because that's a sign of a very long day for Washington. But if they come out flying around, don't be surprised if at the end of the first quarter it's 6-0 with 2 field goals. But eventually, because Ben Johnson is going to be one step ahead. If they're taking away the inside run game, he goes to the outside. If they are successful, which I can't imagine how, because they're the 30th ranked team against the run, against them in the run early on, he gets the ball to the running backs in a different way, but still with the swing game, the short passing game. So you're in essence still running the ball. It's going to be passing yardage, but you're still attacking the same area of the defense, just in a different way. And that's the value of this offense. Not just Ben Johnson, it's Dan Campbell, it's the entire coaching staff that is able to make that shift.
So a slow start shouldn't panic you. Think about it.
No.
When they went to Minnesota, they got down 10-0. How many were they down in Houston? Like 17 points?
Yeah.
And those are better defenses than this Commanders defense. And those were road games. So I certainly don't want a slow start, but I'm not going to panic if they don't score a touchdown on the first drive, or even if they're trailing after the first possession apiece.
And it's also experience plays a part of this.
Yep.
We saw it last year in the NFC Championship game. I do believe experience played a part of them losing that 17-point lead and ultimately not going to the Super Bowl. In large part, the team that they're facing in Washington, now Bobby Wagner, he's a transplant. He's got playoff experience.
Super Bowl champ.
But all the guys that are either 1 or 2 years with the team, they have not, or even longer. Jonathan Allen, He's never been to the playoffs. They've got a playoff win, but every step along the way, it ramps up, and they just don't, in my expertise, but in my experience is what I was looking for, experience will play a part of this, as well as just the X's and O's of football.
Do you feel like the experience mattered for San Francisco last year?
Yeah.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking here is the Commanders may be the Lions, this young team overachieving. They go for it on fourth down. Pause there for a second. I'm a little terrified to finally go up against someone else who's going to maximize fourth downs. That may cause a little extra agita or a little more stress on game day.
Oh, I think it's going to be unbelievably exciting.
But the key is you trust this offense to continue to hum and eventually get one or two key stops against the Commanders. And it's the other thing I'd say is Kang makes the point it's playoff football. It does ramp up. There is more stress. There is more pressure. It's not necessarily close football games, though. The opening weekend, we saw 5 of the 6 games be 10-point or more victories.
Oh, they were disco in 5 cities?
I was going to say disco up and down the coast on the opening weekend. And if Baltimore can win by double digits, and Buffalo can win by double digits, and Philadelphia and Los Angeles can win by double digits, why can't the number one offense in football win by double digits? They're favored by 8.5. Like that, I'm not going to say I'm confident because of where Vegas set the line. It just reinforces what we already thought.
Yeah.
Like we came in on Monday, John, you hadn't seen the line, and you and I, the way we were talking, I looked to you and said, we're going to be discoing by the end of the week.
Well, and with the way the line is moved, you basically have to pick for double digits. If it's 9.5, which I haven't looked this morning, it's 9.5 in some places. So if you're picking the Lions to win your bet, you're going to have to win by 10. Last I checked, that's double digits.
You have to get out the sequins and platform shoes. And
yeah, start dancing.
I was looking into disco balls for Monday. Got to get it done on Saturday night. How we feeling? 248-539-9797. We want your perspective as we get closer to kickoff. You feeling better or worse? If you have concerns, let's hear them. It's 97.1.
Hey, don't let the cold creep in. As Heather's just mentioned, it's going to be really freaking cold next week. If you need your furnace service today, don't wait. Get it done now. Do what I did. Call Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. They've got all the best equipment, the best prices, and they offer same-day service. Plus, there's that 5-year warranty, so you know you are covered on their work. Save a bundle with their winter bundle, up to $1,500 in savings when you buy a new furnace, AC, and generator. Call for details, or you can visit them online at mastercraftheating.com.
Good morning. It's Football Friday. Jim Costa, John Jansen, Heather Park, Gov, and Kang behind the glass.
It seems like a long time since the Lions have played, doesn't it? Lots happened since then.
Yeah. Let's get to Saturday night.
Yeah. Wings run and Pistons, being above 500. And it's just, we had to watch all the other cities and franchises play last week, which, we all enjoyed. Yeah. Finally figured out who we're going to be playing. It just seems like it's been a long time since the Lions have taken the field.
We're going to get to calls on how people are feeling about the Lions. You feeling better, more excited, more nervous? You have a concern about the matchup? Are you at all concerned? 248-539-9797. You did mention the Red Wings. They lost to San Jose, and I told you, not that losing's good, but this might be the kick in the pants for the road trip. And you said it's only a good loss if they respond.
Well, yeah, you got to learn from it. You got to find a way to respond. And this was more about how is Todd McClellan going to respond, and how is he going to see change in his team?
You remember he called out Justin Hull by name after the game and said, send a message. He sent himself a message.
Yeah, turn on the film.
Hey, coughing up the puck in front of our own net in a one-goal game where we're trying to rally. And he made sure to say, though, that he is better than that. And he doesn't treat these guys like babies. He's coaching them, right? They're playing effing hockey. And I loved the response. You get a big win on the road against Florida. That's the reigning Stanley Cup champs. They've had your number. I think it just continues to support that this is not a head coaching bump, but a real turnaround for this hockey team.
Well, and it was nip and tuck to begin with, right? It was 2-2. And then all of a sudden, hey, the Wings start to pour it on.
Yep.
That's really where you start to see some growth. And they lose that one game, and instead of being back 2 points, they're back 4 points, and it seems like it always feels like they're close, but then there's a setback. For this team, I was more looking at how they're going to respond, and the response and the win down in Florida feels more like this. This tells me they could legitimately be a playoff team because they're going to have more losses. They're going to have bad losses. That when they respond this way, I think it leads to more wins. I think it leads to being able to stop a bad run so you don't have 3, 4, 5 games in a row where you're like, well, how can we not get out of this rut?
Sure, there's a world where you lay the egg against San Jose and you don't pick yourself up off the mat and you start this road trip ugly and you find yourself drifting further and further back to where you were when Lalonde was fired. But, John, I think Florida's symbolic, too. Remember last year, Florida was a game that kind of put the Wings in their place? They went down to Florida, and they got beat up and out-physicaled, and I guess we're not ready to play playoff hockey. Symbolic in the sense that you go down to Florida this time, a place you never win, and take care of business. All right, let's get back to the phones. We got Lions fans on hold. Daniel, you're next up. You're on 97.1.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
So, yeah, I'm calling because I'm more excited. I'm way more excited. I mean, Ben Johnson had a whole week off to come up with some new trick plays, watch all the games from last week, get a new trick play going if we need it. Doubt it, but if we need it, he's got it. Also, fun fact, January 18th is Michigan Day. It's come on now. All Detroit teams are playing. We're going to win them all. I'm just so excited. Been a Lions fan since I was born. Shoot. 35. So, yeah, 35-year Lions fan. I placed a bet, I guess, back when they first went to the playoffs with Stafford. I said, they're going to win the Super Bowl in my lifetime. I guarantee it. They're going to win it. My cousin, we got this bet going. Hopefully this is the year I get the win.
Isn't it so funny where we used to be where people go, no, it's never going to happen in your entire life?
Daniel, what's riding on it? What's the bet?
$1,000. Simple bet. Ooh. This is back in 2009. I've been saying, I don't know how we're going to pay it out if one of us ended up something happened to us, but hey, it's happening now. We're both 35. I'm getting my $1,000 February 12th February 12th.
Okay.
Game's February 9th, and then, there you go. That week.
3 days to pay it off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or you're going to break his legs.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Do what needs to be done, Daniel. We appreciate the phone call.
It is going to be a good day in Detroit. And we went through the picks, right? And I picked the Pistons to win.
Think about Pistons play first.
Yeah.
The Wings dropped the puck at 7 against Tampa.
Yeah.
They could take care of business.
In Detroit
hockey history.
Yeah.
But they win. Let's go there. And then, the Lions, they get
round out the night.
And Alex Bregman signs right before midnight.
You calling your shot?
I don't know. I mean, that'd make it the ultimate Detroit day, right?
All 4 teams win on the same day?
That's right. 248-539-9797. In terms of concerns, he doesn't have very many when it comes to Commanders. You don't either. I don't either. The thing I keep going back to is 4th down. They're going to utilize it. We're finally going to feel a little bit of the annoyance that the other teams feel with Dan Campbell. They're going to go for it on 4th down. I think Austin Eckler is a guy to watch. Remember when the Bills came to town, they threw it to the running back, Anzalone. It'll be good to see if he neutralizes that. That's a fun little chess match to watch.
Well, and we asked Dan about, what was the biggest contribution that Alex Anzalone made, and it was really hard for him to talk about it, but one of the things he did mention was his coverability on TJ Hawkinson, and we saw it. The camera was on those matchups all game when they were playing the Vikings, and he did an unbelievable job, and I expect that to be the same thing. And here's where, and I know Aaron Glenn doesn't like the whole spy terminology, but when you have a linebacker like Jack Campbell that can run like him, all right, he is not going to eliminate every first down that Jaden Daniels is attempting to get with his feet, but he may turn what could have been a 15-yard gain into a 7-yard gain. Like, he can cut a lot of those in half, and there are some where he is actually going to prevent a first down. I'm right now, I can tell you that's going to be a big thing that I'm watching, is the athletic ability and the way that Jack Campbell runs will be a major part of this defense and how they slow down Jaden Daniels.
And then just going back to the ground game, because I know you've hit on it, I've hit on it, this could be a big Gibbs game. Not to take anything away from David Montgomery. He is active. He will play. He is one of these culture, heart, and soul guys. When you think of grit, you think of David Montgomery. But you highlighted specifically the edges of this Commander defense is where you can have your most success. I think Gibbs stepped into a bigger role and was even more productive without Montgomery. I'm not saying, I know you're giving me a hard time earlier in the week, I'm not saying shove Montgomery off the team, but really let Gibbs get going in this game, get in a rhythm and punish their defense with explosive plays, get in the end zone and force them to keep up.
Well, and we saw it, against the Vikings where they 4th down in the red zone, they gang up against the run. You could still get the ball to Gibbs. You just let him run a route, and there's not a linebacker that can cover him. And
we've seen that on 4th down this year a couple times.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
And so the ball doesn't have to be handed to Gibbs. It doesn't have to be handed to Montgomery. You can get them the ball in almost the same position on the field by tossing them the ball in a number of different ways. It's just simply, what is the defense trying to do, and what are they trying to take away? If they fully commit, say, the Lions might beat us, but they're not going to beat us with the ground game. They sell out to beat the ground game. There's a dozen different ways that Ben Johnson could call plays to get the ball to the same guys and make it even easier to win this game.
We got the cookie jar coming up at 9:35. The theme this week, Detroit versus DC.
Oh, we got to make sure King has the questions.
Oh, we'll have
yeah.
There you go. Detroit versus DC this week with the cookie jar edition. That's coming up at 9:35. Before we get to Heather's news, Garth, last words. You're on 97.1.
All right. Hey, a long-time listener, second-time caller. I've got 4 quick things to say. I'm going to make it short and sweet. The Tigers are going to make the World Series. The Pistons are going to make the playoffs. The Red Wings are going to make the playoffs. And the Lions will play the Bills for the Super Bowl. And today's prediction for tomorrow's score, 30 Detroit, 23 DC.
Ooh,
Command.
Close game. Yeah. Is that do they score a late touchdown to make it close, or is this a barn burner?
It's going to be some field goals, and then they're going to need 7 to win when it comes down to it. Detroit will beat them by 7. I don't think they'll beat them by 10. Maybe 9, but I don't think they'll beat them by no more than 10.
And you think we're sweating it out a little bit, a little bit there.
Let's
get to Heather with the news.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about Gen Z before I get to some of the other news. So apparently the ability to do basic, practical, everyday tasks is being lost amongst the younger generation because researchers found that 25% of Gen Zers don't know how to change a light bulb. And the reasoning behind all this is even more mind-boggling because they say climbing a ladder, that's too dangerous, guys. Can't do that. And what if we burn our fingers because the light bulb might be too hot? So instead of doing it ourselves, we're just going to hire it out.
That's why they're broke. They can't do anything easy.
Well, that's exactly what. So it says Gen Zers spend about or over $1,500 per year hiring professionals. So that goes into all of it. Learn how to do these things because there's more, you guys, that apparently they can't do, okay? They don't know how to clean their car. Like go out and like hand wash a car. Like
soap
they don't know how to
water?
put soap in a bucket with a sponge.
Yeah,
and
we did that growing up.
And then use a hose to...
Can't do that. They can't add air to their tires.
What?
They can't add air to their tires.
What do you mean?
Can they put windshield wiper fluid in their reservoir?
I'm guessing no.
How are they going to get that hood up?
I think they don't even know how. 30% can't recognize a flathead screwdriver or a wrench.
You mean like if you showed them pictures, they couldn't, like in a lineup.
Hey, go get me the flathead. They don't know. They just stand there like,
give me a Phillips head. Yeah.
They don't know what that is.
The
or
one with the
grab
plus
a
sign.
wrench. They don't know what a wrench is.
What a wrench is.
Yeah.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge. Obviously, they're getting hit in the head with the wrench.
1 in 10 say they call a pro to hang a picture.
Oh my goodness.
Put a nail on the wall.
This is why they're broke.
I don't consider myself to be a handy person. All of these things are basic.
They're very basic. I mean, when you think about it, for the majority of their life, things have been done for them. Everything is easy, right? But you also have YouTube and everything. You can find out how to do anything online and do it yourself.
I know. It's called Google.
So if they can't do that, they're not changing a tire. Like, I mean, there's probably so many things. That
but it just shows. So maybe if you're in that generation, the younger, maybe you should just become a handyman because you could make a lot of money.
Well, how much are they charging to change a light bulb? Because that's easy money.
Yeah. Can you imagine getting that call? I'm calling an electrician. What do you need? I need the light bulbs changed in my house.
What? And the battery and the smoke detector too. I don't know.
What kind of watt do you need? I don't know. What's a watt?
Also, why are they getting on a ladder? Like a chair probably gets you up to most lights.
Stand on the counter. I mean,
the suggestions are right on the ladder too. This is not a step. You can still use it as a step.
It's ridiculous, whatever it is. In other news, Metro Detroit native Caleb Carroll is singing the national anthem before the Lions playoff game on Saturday night. I don't know if you guys have heard him before because this is not his first time singing the anthem. He did sing this season. He sung during the Lions' victory in the season opener against the Rams back in September, and he has sung at Ford Field numerous times, I guess, on Thanksgiving in 2020.
Okay.
He moved people to tears.
Oh.
So if you're there, just make sure you're really taking it in because apparently he's a very good singer. So that's exciting.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
A federal jury has awarded a Canton man who was actually fired from his job at MGM Grand because he refused to get the COVID vaccine with $133,000. So a jury found that the casino discriminated against this man by denying him this exemption to the company's vaccine mandate. So he had requested an exemption for religious purposes. They said no, fired him, and he sued back in 2022, was just awarded $33,000 for back pay and $100,000 for damages. I wonder if he's the only one who filed a lawsuit. Jim Harbaugh's off-season plans include undergoing 2 medical procedures. So maybe a little different off-season than he was originally thinking, but during his end-of-the-year news conference on Wednesday, he said he is going to be having a cardiac ablation as well as a hip replacement surgery.
This isn't the first time he's had like a heart procedure.
No, in one article, I swear I read that this will be his 3rd time. This article says he's had one other in 2012. So
taking care of himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best time to do it. You got to get it done. Do it during the off season. Yep. Finally, I got to get to this one. There's an Alaska Airlines flight attendant who has now turned to crowdfunding to get her to her next job because she was fired for twerking on the job. So there's a video of this woman. She posted a video on TikTok that showed her dancing in uniform on the plane. Now, the video was actually taken during a delay. Nobody was on board. The captain wasn't even there. That's who they were waiting for.
So what's the issue?
And she was celebrating because she just I think this is like the start of a new job. She'd just gotten through like the probationary period, was just becoming a new flight attendant. And she did a little dance with a little twerking. Nothing too crazy, but she posted it to TikTok and the airline terminated her because they have a strict policy about social media and guidelines about what you can post in uniform.
No twerking in uniform.
No. And she said, what's wrong with a little twerk before work?
I'm with her.
Some people said, hey, that's unprofessional and disrespectful. Others said,
but there's no one there.
Go get it, girl. You're fine. But it's the posting.
Yes,
John, you've never done that before a big show?
I've never twerked.
A little twerk in before we get to work.
You would talk about something that is vomit-inducing.
Oh.
Me twerking? Just right now, there's people that may have that vision. They're like, whoa.
And that is Heather with the news. We have a winner for the Lions tickets. I'm sorry to disappoint everybody who's trying to get through on the phones or may be on hold. Kevin in St. Clair Shores is our winner. Pair of tickets to see the Lions Saturday against the Commanders. It's courtesy of Bud Light. If you're not Kevin from St. Clair Shores, if you didn't win these tickets, we have one more chance. Buffalo Wild Wings in Detroit on Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. Your last chance tickets. We're going to be broadcasting live as a station starting at 1 o'clock as part of the kickoff of game day. More info at 971theticket.com. Cookie jars next. It's 97.1. Again, if you didn't win the Lions tickets today with us, you have another chance. Buffalo Wild Wings in Detroit, Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. for last chance tickets. 971theticket.com for more info, and we'll be broadcasting live out there starting at 1. All right, let's get to the cookie jar.
He's in.
Yeah. It's the cookie jar brought to you by Moran Chevrolet. Moran Chevrolet, where you always get the best price, period. Today's theme, Detroit versus D.C. First up, better changing of the season, the spring cherry blossoms or the fall foliage?
So when I was in D.C., we used to go down for the cherry blossoms on, around the Lincoln Memorial in the pool. We went on some of those paddle boats that you get a chance to see, and it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even come close to the fall colors that Michigan, and it doesn't matter where you are in the state of Michigan, the vibrant colors, fall foliage to me is hands down the winner of this one.
Heather?
I'm totally with John. It was kind of tough because they're both beautiful, right? And I like spring probably better than fall, maybe a little bit, but nothing beats seeing the colors on the tree. Got to be the fall.
Kang?
Yeah, give me more colors, man.
Yeah.
Fall brings more colors. Spring cherry blossom is just one type of color. And also, I know it's not part of it, but I take into the weather as an account. Fall weather is fantastic, so I'll take fall foliage and the weather.
I will say this, though. In spring in D.C., the weather is awesome.
Why don't you leg hump D.C. a little bit more, John?
I picked fall. Yeah.
Greg doesn't do that. Fall, I'll be quick. And the best place, I think, personally, is if you drive up US 127, probably around the Houghton Lake area. Unbelievable.
Yeah. 119, the Tunnel of Trees. I don't know, Heather, have you ever done that one?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
The answer is fall. The foliage here, the colors,
Yeah.
the crisp air. Better signature food, Coney dogs or mumbo sauce? Now, John, I don't know if you've heard of mumbo sauce, but I looked up. This is like a barbecue sauce thing exclusive to the D.C. area.
I was there for a decade, never heard of mumbo sauce. And I looked it up, too, and it's like a ketchup base, so absolutely not.
Well,
I don't want any part of that. Give me a Coney dog any day of the week and twice on Sundays. I'll take a Coney dog. That is maybe the one guilty pleasure that first of all, you can't have just one Coney dog, and you just can't say no to.
I mean, I'm indifferent on this, but I would have to pick the Coney dog. Even though I don't eat them, I have. Yeah. Well, I've had a hot dog. I guess technically I've never had a true Coney dog.
You know what? Contractors like Coney dogs.
Stop it.
You haven't had a Coney dog?
I don't think I've never had a genuine Coney dog.
Well, but you don't eat meat, so.
But before I did.
I mean, you're bordering on what is Bronner's.
Oh, I mean, I've seen one.
You've seen a Coney dog.
You're aware they exist.
What is a
yes,
Coney dog?
I know what they are.
What is a Coney dog? Kang?
Doug, is that you? I thought I was on the morning show.
Yeah.
No, I'm going Coney dog all day. I thought you spelled it wrong first. I thought it was Matumbo sauce, and I don't want anything to do with that guy's sauce.
No.
Washington.
No.
Mumbo.
Yeah, it's the Coneys here.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There's not a place out in Vegas that's themed around Washington, is there?
No,
and
there's not.
And you got the D,
Yes.
and you got the American Coney there.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Yep.
Coney dogs.
Yeah.
Better dessert, cherry pie. I know how much John loves pie.
Oh, yeah, this is a tough one.
Cherry pie or bumpy cake?
So when I thought about this one, I thought, okay, if I had the two in front of me, first of all, which one would I pick first? And it would be the bumpy cake. And here's the other separator. I can have one piece of cherry pie with a scoop of ice cream, and I'm satisfied. I'm okay. I don't have to go. I will go back. I don't have to go back for a second piece. There's absolutely no chance I have one piece of bumpy cake. And if we run out before I've had my second piece, there's going to be hell to pay.
I could eat a whole tin of bumpy cake.
Yeah.
I love bumpy cake.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen they'll sell it in like a 2-person size to help you because they know you can't help yourself.
They're very good.
It's bumpy cake.
Yeah.
Kang?
Bumpy cake all day. Cherry pie can be a little tart sometimes. I've never had an issue with bumpy cake, so I'm going bumpy
Every
cake.
once in a while you might get the pit too.
That's right.
It's always a risk.
Better landmark, the Spirit of Detroit or the Lincoln Memorial? Oh, boy.
It's a tough one. Now, if you had put some of the other landmarks in D.C. Like my favorite is the World War II Memorial. I would have to side with that one. The Lincoln Memorial.
Are you about to denigrate the Lincoln Memorial?
I'm not going to denigrate the spirit of Detroit either. I mean, they don't put a Commander's jersey on the Lincoln Memorial.
No.
I'm not even sure you could. That might be federal law or something. Yeah.
I've never been to the Lincoln Memorial. Really? But
have you ever been to D.C.?
Yes.
So have you done like the mall where you go around and see
I
all the
have,
stuff? Washington Monument?
So maybe I have.
You had to have.
Yeah, he's a really big guy.
Yeah. Sitting in the chair. Yeah. But I still feel like that is a better monument. No knock to the spirit of Detroit, but like it's got the nice water in front, and you can see like the reflection in the. It's larger. I don't know. The spirit of Detroit, I feel like, is kind of like you might miss it.
We have our first dissenter.
I don't know.
Kang.
Yeah, I'll join you, Heather. I got to go Lincoln Memorial. It's just more iconic. It's. I've been there. It's fantastic. It's awe. It's like when you can use the word like you're in awe. I think the Lincoln Memorial qualifies.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one, if you're going with the spirit of Detroit, that's Nick Wright-ish.
Yeah, it's Lincoln Memorial.
Danny Perkins, the bad take. I'm sorry, John.
All right,
we've all done that before. Come on, I've had bad takes. The Lincoln Memorial at night is beautiful.
Next question. Better Russian hockey player, Sergei Fedorov, Alexander Ovechkin?
So if you're talking about these guys just as individual hockey players, the numbers say Alex Ovechkin, but the Stanley Cup say Fedorov. So this is a team sport. But Ovechkin has only played with one team. I do. He came on the show when I used to have a TV show there. Gave me a signed jersey. So I'm going to go with Ovechkin.
Who's hotter, Heather?
Oh gosh.
Yes. How many teeth does each guy have?
Yeah, let's pass on me. Let's go to Kang.
What do you got?
Who do I think's hotter? I don't want to answer that either. No, why are you making me do this, Jim? I mean, I got to go Ovechkin, man. He's the better hockey player. Plus, he's likable. If it was Crosby, it'd be easier to say no, but I got to go Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Are we getting in the weeds on this, Jim? You're a hockey guy, big time.
The answer's Ovechkin.
It is Ovechkin, and Sergei was probably a better two-way. It wasn't even a probably to it, but come on. I mean,
Ovechkin's a 3-time MVP, Cup champion, all-time goal scorer when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I never thought somebody would break Gretzky's goal-scoring record.